Whether you're a coach, business owner, or sales rep trying to get more customers or clients, you should know by now the importance of cold emailing. In this video, I'm gonna walk through 2 email examples of actual cold emails that I've received. We're gonna apply some of the 15 email marketing tips that I've recently shared to break down what these people did well, as well as how we could rewrite their emails to be way more effective. Be sure to stick until the end to learn how to get more of my email marketing tips sent directly to your inbox for free. If at any point you find these walkthroughs and rewrites helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button below. By doing so, more marketers will be able to discover this video and also improve their emails. As usual, here are some timestamps that you can use, but without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our very first email example, which is from a domain salesman. This person pretty much sells .inc extensions for domains so that different businesses that have the .coms or the .cos can buy the .inc version of their business's domain. The email reads, "Hi Will, we at .inc Domains recognizes that it's been a turbulent few months and sincerely hope that you and your family stay safe throughout these difficult times. Since the .inc internet domain was recently released, startups and established businesses have been securing their brands. Over 55% of the Fortune 500 companies already own their .com domains, including Apple, Amazon, Google, Goldman Sachs, and more. XYZ is currently available for sale to anyone. Don't let anyone else beat you to your firm's .inc domain. Protect your brand and your online reputation by acquiring today from your preferred registrar or brand protection agency. I'm here to help. Feel free to call me for more details. Thank you, David." And then there's a call to action that says get .inc. Referencing back to my recent videos on email marketing tips, this email misses the mark for a few key reasons. The biggest reason why it misses the mark is because it really doesn't address Anna very well. As a reminder, Anna stands for Audience, Needs, and Ask. The entire first section is focused on trying to empathize with the audience, but it doesn't really move the email forward. We also have a really uninspiring subject line which just says following up on, which means that this person emailed me a prior time and I simply hadn't responded the first time. What also misses the mark here is that the main need for me as a recipient to this email is not really highlighted until the very third paragraph of this email. It's the section when he's telling me not to let my competition buy the .inc version of my domain that the email is actually contextualized to tell me what's in it for me. Lastly, the call to action is unclear. It's unclear if this person wants me to call him or to click that button that says to get .inc. Remember, it's always better to have 1 CTA versus 2 CTAs whenever possible. All these things being said, our friend David here does do a good job in terms of speaking more in you terms as opposed to I terms, which, as I went over in a prior video, is a big difference maker when it comes to effective email marketing. If we were to rework this email, there are 3 things that I would do. The first thing I would do is I would lead with the point that anyone can buy the .inc domain. This would make it clear what the table stakes are from this email. The 2 other things that I do is I'd cut out the first paragraph and then I'd realign my CTAs to make sure that they are 5-year-old proof. Let's go ahead and rewrite email number 1 to improve this domain salesman's prospecting for the future. The line that I came up with was, "Did you know that Google had to pay a man thousands of dollars to get back their domain? No, seriously, here's an article on that." So even though that there is another call to action here, I think it's a super interesting link to share to the reader. And so it's not gonna actually impact my later call to action all that much here. But the reason why I'm opening with this line is because it really catches the reader's attention a little bit more than the original email. Then I'm going to continue the email by saying, if Google can make this sort of mistake, then you can too. So now that we've outlined the problem to the reader, we can now start talking about the approach to how we can solve this problem. So the next sentence I came up with was, an easy way to protect your brand and online reputation is securing your different domains. At .inc Domains, we do exactly that for you. So what I'm doing here is I'm making the segue from the problem section to the approach, and then I'm presenting the solution, which is us, into the conversation. So from here, I'm going to say, if you'd like to protect yourself and join the 55% of other Fortune 500 companies that already own their .inc domains, reply back and I'll take care of this for you. The last thing that I'll do is I'm gonna rename the subject line to protecting your brand's online reputation. The reason why is because it uses that your statement and it also contextualizes the email a little bit more clearly when it arrives in the inbox of the prospect. Let's go ahead and break down what we did in this email rewrite that makes it way more effective when comparing the original to the rewrite. The first thing that we did was we really led with a hook. We really thought about what would intrigue our reader to continue reading the email beyond the first sentence. Instead of bringing up what was in it for them at the end of the email, we brought it to the very beginning. What we also did was that after we got the attention of the reader, we focused on the needs of the audience. So this was something that wasn't super clear in the first version of this email. Lastly, we ended with a super clear call to action. Because I included that link to the article on Google's story of buying back their domain, I didn't want to include another link. So what I did instead was I asked the person to reply back to the email. This way I avoided putting 2 links in the email and I focused still on having one clear call to action. Lastly, we repositioned the subject line to be oriented more around the prospect and the topic of the email as opposed to the generic following up on subject line that we had in the original. What I want you to notice is that in just a few minutes, we have completely revamped this email to be potentially way more effective than the original. All it took was a few minutes, and so you can do this too if you're thinking about how you can reword or reposition your emails. I want to hear from you. Comment below if you would have been more likely to reply to the original email here or the rewrite that we have just worked through. Before we head into our second example, if you're new here, I teach you sales, digital marketing, and entrepreneurship with new videos every single week. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to get new videos every single week that take you from zero to self-starter. Also, if you found this first email rewrite helpful, be sure you hit that like button below to do me a favor and also help more people find this video and learn from it too. Jumping into example number 2, we have a lead gen salesman. One of the great luxuries of being a business owner is the number of beautiful emails that are sent to your inbox. That's complete sarcasm. But let's go ahead and take a look at this second email and what this person does well and what they could do much better. Here we have an email from our buddy Felipe, and the subject line reads, "Virtual lead gen for XYZ." The body reads, "Hi Will, I've been generating inbound leads and sales for companies like XYZ over the last year with great success and zero advertising cost. I would love to talk to you about a few channels and strategies that are working best for my clients and can work for you as well. Would you be open to 10 free leads in for 5 minutes of your time? If so, sign up here. Feel free to visit our website, www.xyz.com. Sincerely, Felipe." The first thing that it misses is that the subject line frankly sucks. It does make it really clear what you're offering to me, but it's not super engaging as to the offer that you are about to pitch me. The other problem is that Felipe spends a lot of his email talking about what he's done for other clients as opposed to what he can do for me. Notice the difference between this email and David's email in email number 1, in which David focused a little bit more on me as the prospect, whereas Felipe is talking about statements that use the I phrase a lot more. He says statements like, "I have been generating," or "I would love to talk to you," much more than David did. Lastly, the call to actions are super unclear. I don't know if Felipe wants me to click the here, go and visit his website, or even just manage my email preferences or unsubscribe from his list. It is not explained like I'm 5-proof, so as a result, I am less inclined to take any action at all. All this being said, one thing that Felipe does do decently well is that he does focus on what's in it for me. He tells me that he's willing to offer me 10 free leads in exchange for 5 minutes of my time. So making that offer really clear is a nice job for Felipe. That being said though, as a business owner, I know that that's a bunch of humbo jumbo and that it is simply a way for somebody to get a discovery call with me. And so it's typically gonna be more of a waste of time for me than it is an actual benefit. So be careful when you make those sorts of pitches because business owners see that all the time. It is better for you to lead with value in your first email with really specific points than it is for you to make a generic statement of some offer that you're going to be giving them. Okay, so now that we've gone over email number 2, let's jump into into how we would rewrite this. I'm gonna pull up Hemingway Editor like I did last time, so let's jump in. The first thing that I do is I reposition the subject line. The subject line that I've come up with is quick question on XYZ's lead gen. This is a little bit more personalized than the prior subject line, but more importantly, it is focused on this email being a really low lift email that can potentially get a more immediate response from the business owner. From here, I would immediately jump into the problem. So the sentence I came up with was, with everything going on right now in the world, is your sales team getting enough leads? If not, I did some research and found 10 leads that might be valuable to you because they are in your ideal customer profile. So what I'm doing here is I'm making it really clear that if they have this problem, I have already identified a solution for them, so they should keep reading my email. Lastly, I'm gonna have my call to action, and so I'm gonna end with a simple line of, mind if I send it over? From there, I would just sign Felipe, and then I'd see how my prospects responded to this. Let's talk about what was different about this. The first thing is that we really focused on the fundamentals as to what the prospect might care about and how we can align to their needs. In other words, we focused a lot on Anna, which was aligning to the audience, the needs, and making a very clear ask. We also cut out the part on talking to us because that was just fluff. At this point in time in the relationship of a cold email, we've added no additional value to the business owner, so there's no reason why they should be giving us any time on their calendar. Instead, what we've done is we've focused on giving value upfront to the business owner and completing that value, as opposed to asking them to visit our website or to book a time with us. The final nuance that I want you to take note of here is that I've left the door open to myself. Notice how I end the email with a simple line of, mind if I send this over? This makes it super easy for me to follow up on this email in the case where the business owner doesn't respond to me by simply replying back on the email and actually sending over those leads in my next email follow-up. By having this sort of 1-2 punch, I'm making it really clear to my prospect that I'm here to provide value to them and not simply to sell them another service that they might not actually need. Just like last time, now that we've covered email rewrite number 2, I want to hear from you. Which one would you have been more likely to respond to? The original for email number 2 or the rewrite that we've done right here? As usual, there are 2 big takeaways from today's video. The first one is to always remember ANA, or Anna. Who is your audience, what are their needs, and what is your ask of them? The second thing to remember is to always make sure that your call to actions are ELI 5 proof. In other words, a 5-year-old should be able to understand what you want the reader of your email to do as their next action. As much as possible, try to limit your emails to 1 call to action. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, what do you do to make sure that your emails get people's attention? I'd love to hear from you, and I'm sure others in the community would as well. I read and try to respond to every single comment. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love my email marketing jumpstart kit. In it, you're gonna get a ton more tips and tricks that you can apply directly into your email marketing to do the sorts of rewrites that we did today. So check that out in the link in the video description below. If you haven't already, hit that like button below and you got value out of this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you do so. By doing so, more people are going to be able to discover this video and learn like you did. Also, feel free to share this with anybody that you think might benefit from walking through these 2 examples. If you haven't checked out my prior 3 email marketing tips videos, I highly recommend you check those out. I go over things from the beginner side all the way to a technical advanced side. And lastly, since you've made it so far into this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing and hit that notification bell below. By doing so, I'll send you new videos every single week where I help take you from zero to self-starter as we learn some real-world business skills. That's it for this time though. I'll catch you guys next time when I talk more about how to write email subject lines that work. In the meantime though, check out these videos that YouTube thinks you might like.